I'm checking that thing. Okay, let's see how first.
Yeah, this is so this is technically my second class course of yours.
Okay, mine is.
Yes. Yeah, just today. Yeah.
Three classes.
So alright. We are on the same page. Yes.
Initially, you
So very good.
so yeah. So then,
Another.
today only. There's no problem here, but the procedure is that once you got admission, then you have to have an orientation. That means
I did also
monthly.
the one. Yeah.
Okay, that's another thing. The faculty takes the orientation. Okay, and then they introduce you to different courses, and whatever courses they are taking, they'll just run through the journey. Kind of a introduction. No, you sit here, no problem. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the topic. Where were we? Huh? COP30. So that is what I've given to you, right? To do something related to COP30. क्या किया आप लोगों ने? So you have got into midway, a lot of things you will not understand.
Yeah.
So ideally, should not be your first class, but I would like to have an experience of this. Okay? बताइए. So can we highlight what were the major things that were not done earlier that were done in COP30? Can you simplify that for me? Excellent.
Second was forest biodiversity. It aimed to protect the world's coastline carbon sink.
Okay, so basically what happened in the two things, I'll tell you. So for that, I'm trying to explain you in a way even a layman person will understand, right? So in the earlier stages, in the earlier COPs is like conference of party, when few members are coming and meeting up. You call them as COP. And this is the term you're using in a lot of meetings. जब आपका international institutions का meeting होता है, so use the term COP. COP is conference of parties. Parties means member. If I am India, I am representing what I am. I have ratified the document. I am in part of that institution. So all of us will meet. That is called as COP. So in the COP30, which happened recently in 2025, where in Brazil. So they adopted Belém mission. What is that? BELEM. Belém mission. What do you understand by Belém mission? So they have focused on a lot of things. What is that? They have focused that they have to, related to the climate change, they have to stick to the 1.5 degrees Celsius. That is what they have been aiming for. जब पेरिस एग्रीमेंट से स्टार्ट हुआ था, रिमेंबर कि हमें क्या करना है, 1.5 डिग्री से कम करना है, एंड उसको लेकर जाना है कब तक, प्री इंडस्ट्रियल लेवल तक, ठीक है, उस लेवल तक हमें लेकर जाना है. उसके बाद उन्होंने क्या एक नया एडिशन किया, दैट मुजुराओ डिक्लेरेशन, दैट इज डिफरेंट इन दिस COP 30 में सबसे अलग बात है मुजुराओ डिक्लेरेशन, विच इज व्हाट they are inclusive and creating a balance. When I say inclusive, it means I am involving everyone from the section which is of the most degraded section, or the most deprived section, I should say deprived section, to the top peoples, right, the people who are earning well. So all of that I'm including, not only humans, I'm including animals also. So when I say the word inclusive, it means मुझे सबका ध्यान रखते हुए चलना है आगे, बढ़ना है आगे. So that is what you call. You cannot run the system without getting the assistance of what? Your ecosystem. An ecosystem involves all. Humans are just a part of it. We are just playing a little role in the ecosystem. There are other people also, there are other species also playing their own part. So we should not forget it. So that is what is different in COP 30. They are saying मुजुराओ डिक्लेरेशन. मुजुराओ का मतलब होता है कि सब लोगों को मिलकर एक इंक्लूसिव सिटी आनी चाहिए, इंक्लूसिवनेस आनी चाहिए, प्लस देयर शुड बी अ बैलेंस. ठीक है, इंक्लूसिवनेस एंड प्लस देयर शुड बी अ बैलेंस. Second thing, what they included that there should be some kind of funds. जो भी आप फंड कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं उनका नाम रखा गया. I'll tell you, I'll get into the detail. जो फंड्स हैं आपके, उनमें से कुछ परसेंटेज किसको जाएगा? इंडिजिनियस पीपल को. Because who are maintaining this ecosystem? Are you and I, people like you and I are going and taking care of the ecosystem? Are we deriving something from the ecosystem directly? No. Our livelihood is not coming out of that. Our livelihood is on different paths, right? We are dependent on the services sector, we're dependent on other manufacturing sectors for our livelihood, but not directly to the agriculture. But there are some tribal communities who are directly dependent upon them, and that's a give and take kind of a balance that they have maintained over there. What they're giving, they're nurturing it, right? When you're growing the plants, you're employing it, everything you are doing, they're nurturing it. And at the same time, they are getting what? Livelihood out of that. They are getting the food out of that. उनके लिए वही bare minimum है, और वही उनके लिए क्या है? Important है. That is a sustainable and what do you call sustenance level है उनका. ठीक है? So if I talk about COP 30, these are important points. ठीक है? कितने लोगों ने किया है task? Okay, there is Kevin also there online में. कितने लोगों ने किया है टास्क? नहीं किया? ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, जस्ट राइट अबाउट इट. COP 30 स्टार्ट करिए, थोड़ा थोड़ा लिखना स्टार्ट करेंगे. First write down where it took place. Do you know where is Brazil, South America? Right? There is somebody who added up. Okay, it's in South America. Where is your next COP is going to happen? Where is your next COP going to happen? Yes, annually, every year. Where is going to happen? पहले कहाँ हुआ था 29 में? We've forgotten everything that we have learned. Yeah, Baku. It's Baku. Baku, Azerbaijan. Next is going to take place in Turkey. ठीक है? 31 is going to take place in Turkey. COP 31. This is what we are discussing about COP 30. Write down. The 30th conference of parties. The 30th Conference of Parties to United Nations Framework Convention. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change was held in Belém. Belém is a place in Brazil. That's why I'm discussing about Belém mission. It took place in Belém. Took place in Belém. Write down. It was hosted in the Amazon region. It was hosted in the Amazon region, and this is also known with the name of, COP of implementation, comma, COP of truth. It is also known as COP of implementation, comma, COP of truth, and forest COP. Forest COP. Forest and then COP. CUP. COP. Right? COP in the capital letters. Right? COP capital letters में लिखेंगे right now. It is rooted in the spirit of Mutirao. It is rooted in the, I'm writing on the board, spirit of Mutirao, which is your inclusiveness, which is your inclusive and balance, which is your inclusive and balance. Right? Next, write down. It concluded with the adoption of Bellum package. It concluded with the Bellum package. It concluded with the Bellum package, write down, including agreements on topics such as, just transition, comma, adaptation finance, comma, trade, just transition, comma, adaptation finance, comma, trade, comma, gender, and technology. Then the first highlight of this mission was Bellum mission, BELEM, right? You'll not forget by the word Bellum because it held in Bellum. So write down first Bellum mission. Bellum mission. First point. The Bellum mission was aimed at reducing the climate change temperatures, by 1.5 degrees Celsius. It focused on action-oriented platform. To foster means badana, to foster enhanced ambitions and international cooperation, to enhance ambition, international cooperation. Write down next. Global Implementation Accelerator. Write down. It is a voluntary initiative. It's a voluntary initiative to support countries in their NDC, and NDC. I'll tell you what is NDC is. NDC and National Adaptation Plans. If you remember from the previous class, we have discussed about NDC, right? What is that? It is nationally determined contribution. If you remember, this is what we have taken in. This was the idea discussed in which agreement? Paris Agreement, right? So it is what? It is legally binding. If in fact the Paris Agreement itself is a legally binding. And what COP it is, Paris Agreement? It is COP 21, which held in 2015. So it has given some targets. What do you mean by this national determined contribution? These are the long-term targets. Long-term means they are taken for the 5 years. They are long-term targets which have been taken by different countries. Now, countries only decide what they can do best in order to reduce the climate change. In order to reduce the climate change. So, first it was taken in 2015. Next, our targets were updated. I mean, us means India was updated in 2022. Now again, they have to be released, and this has to be taken up until 2035. Okay?
2015 में COP21 आया, 2026 वाला तो COP20 मतलब 22 है.
It's not yearly.
No, it's not here. Basically, your COP20 could not happen. 2022 could not happen because of the COVID. So 26 हुआ था 21 में. And then
आज से रिसेप्शन अगली करना.
हाँ, तो 15 हुआ, 16 हुआ, हाँ, 17 तो होगा, 18, 19, 20, and then 21. So 21 took, it's COP21 took place at this time. Then 22, 23, 24, 25 would have taken. 26 held in 21. फिर उसके बाद रेगुलर. ठीक है, राइट. नेक्स्ट राइट ऑन. Now they have something related for the forest and the nature. Write on the heading forest and the nature. They have something related to the forest and nature. Okay. Write on. It aims to mobilize $25 billion from the member countries. It aims to mobilize $25 billion from member countries and attract up to $100 billion from private investors. It aims to mobilize $25 billion from member countries and attract $100 billion from private investors. Huh? No, it's billion. Million में तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Yeah. ठीक है? From private investors. So they have divided this. They already know the number. This is too big number, right? So they are saying 25 billion will be given by the countries who are the members of this, right? And next remaining amount they will fetch from 75 billion. They will fetch from the private investors. So that's how they will make around $100 billion. $100 billion funds will be created for them. Now, what are these funds for? They are basically for the tropical forest, because the Brazil itself is located in which region? Tropical region, and they are having the densest forest. We need to protect. If the tropical regions are saved, what will be saved? The whole ecosystem, because they are forming the major chunk of all the forest. If you see which is the most densest area, the tropical regions, yes, Amazon, tropic से लेकर subtropical तक, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, right? So in that way we are saving it. So write down, लिखिए, it established 125 billion.
This is forestation a part of the Berlin mission.
No, this is the Berlin mission is different. That's for the temperatures. Now this forest and nature is for the funds that they want. किसके लिए चाहिए fund? For tropical forest forever facility.
Still about
Yes. लिखिए, write down. They will establish tropical forest investment fund. They will establish tropical forest investment fund. They will establish tropical forest investment fund that pays tropical forest countries for maintaining and expanding for maintaining and expanding tropical and subtropical moist, broadleaf, aims to expand tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forest. Next, write down. Next, लिखिए. Okay. There is also something on the social and health. Write down. It's Belem Health Action Plan. Health Action Plan, which states that it's world's first international climate adaptation plan. कभी भी आज तक कॉप के अंदर कोई ऐसा adaptation plan नहीं आया जो health से related हो. ठीक है, this is the first one which has been introduced. Write down. It's Belem Health Action Plan. Write down. It's world's first international climate adaptation plan. Climate adaptation plan. Written? Okay. Write down next. Okay. Now what else we have to discuss? COPs are done. Everything is done. Shall we move to the different conventions now? Anything you have to ask in this? पूछिए. Anything you need to ask? Not you. This is the first class. जितने भी COPs we have done, just run through them very quickly and then you can ask. Clear? Trisha? Okay. Shall we move? Okay. Next is Bond Convention. What is Bond Convention? So basically this Bond Convention is for the migratory species, right? So every year, you know, because they need a wintering ground. If there is scorching heat somewhere, they will migrate to the places which are cooler in environment. And there are some, because birds cannot actually change their temperature, body temperature. They cannot adjust to the environment. So they move on, they keep on hovering from one place to another. So the point is, when it is scorching heat over here in the tropics, then they move to somewhere else. When there is cold, extreme cold coming in the polar regions, they come and move here. If you have seen in October, November, we will see a lot of current affairs and news that these beautiful migratory species have come and we can spot them. The moment we do not spot them in any of the season, that shows that our ecosystem is getting feeble, right? So this is what it gives us a true picture that what is happening around us. First point is this. Second is, we get to know about that if there is some sort of problems which is being created in the ecosystem, what best we can do for it. For example, there are areas which has been designated as wetlands. We have done the topic of wetlands, and many times we have seen a lot of wetlands have been just formed on the basis of the migratory species. For example, there is a wetland with the name of yes, Loktak Lake. Remember, right? We have done in Manipur. This Loktak Lake in Manipur is having a lot of migratory birds which are coming here. Okay? We do spot them every year. So that is how we are forming a wetland, so that we can conserve them for the migratory species. So birds are not only the migratory species, there are different migratory species as well, right? So when you are discussing about all these things, you are discussing that how species are important for us, right? So we need to conserve them in a way that first they should not be treated in a very unwell manner. For example, if I say, do you think that only birds travel from one place to another? Do you think only birds travel? There are different species as well. For example, can you give me other species name? Okay. And some fishes also, right? Penguins sometimes, because they come, it has been said that they come very near to the African coast. No, it's not. I mean, the species. Okay. So they come and go. So all of this is what we are seeing, the different patterns which are changing with respect to the seasons, right? So Bonn Convention has been made right down. It's an international legally binding agreement. It's an international legally binding agreement formed under the auspices of AUSPICES, which has been formed under the auspices of UNEP, which is United Nations Environment Program, which has been formed under UNEP, which is United Nations Environment Program, right? So when I talk about UNEP, what do I mean by that? It's an international institution, right? UNEP. So under UNEP, you have formed what? Bonn Convention. Bonn Convention is for what? Your migratory species. I have used the word species. It could have anything in that. Species से मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है इसके अंदर, birds हो सकता है, animals हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. ठीक है? जब when I said it's a legally binding, what does it mean? Anybody, any member who is ratifying it will become now responsible. Exactly, responsible for fulfilling the correct objectives which have been enlisted in the agreement. The moment I try to violate that, I will be legally charged for it. Okay? Write down next. The convention has two appendices. The convention has two appendices. That means two lists, two appendices. The first list contains the list of migratory species. The first list contains the list of migratory species that are endangered. That are endangered, right? So, write down next. See, when something has been endangered, what will happen then? It becomes important. Can you tell me one migratory species which is critically endangered or endangered? I have given that example in the class too. Yeah, bird. Any species which is endangered. And next, it's Siberian crane. Yes, Siberian crane I have talked about is critically endangered. It used to visit where? Ecology National Park. Right, Ecology National Park has been a very important sensitive ecosystem, and as you know that it is also a national park. It is also what? A world Ramsar site, correct? Right. In fact, it has been already enlisted in Montreux records. ठीक है, जब इतना ज़्यादा उन पे focus किया जा रहा है, that means the migratory birds which are coming over here are important. One of them which is coming in this areas are Siberian crane, which is critically endangered. Now they have very least spotted over there. I believe so. So now the point is that how we are going to conserve it. तो हमने दो लिस्ट बना दी है. जब हमारी प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट होती है हम क्या करते हैं? एक लिस्ट को करते हैं सबसे प्रायोरिटी पे, दूसरी लिस्ट को हम देखते हैं कि ठीक है होगा तो होगा, नहीं होगा तो कोई बात नहीं. So just like that they have also created two lists. One is very important list where they have to keep in the more attention. That is without any doubt, without any fail, they have to work on that, which is your appendix 1. The list includes migratory species that are endangered. Now, Appendix 2, which is List 2, contains, write down, it includes species. It includes species that would benefit significantly. It includes species that would benefit significantly from international cooperation. From international cooperation. Now write down some key binding agreements under Bonn Convention. Some key binding agreements under Bonn Convention. The first one is Eurobats. Eurobats. कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स है, आपको एग्जाम्पल से ज्यादा समझ में आएगा. So it's clearly visible from the name itself that it's Eurobats is conservation for the bats itself. Write down. It aims to conserve 51 bat species. It aims to conserve 51 bat species in Europe. It aims to conserve 51 bat species in Europe. Next, it includes countries of full Europe. It contains the countries of full Europe, comma, Africa, comma, Central Asia, full stop, and Central Asia. Next is EcoBAMS. EcoBAMS. Write down EcoBAMS. हाँ कैपिटल लिखना है, राइट करेंगे. यूरो इज यूरोपियन बैट्स, ठीक है. EcoBAMS लिखिए. It protects dolphins and whales. It protects dolphins and whales in Mediterranean Sea, comma, in Black Sea, nearby Atlantic areas. Nearby Atlantic areas. Right? So this is with respect to the Bonn Convention. Just go through it. It's there with me. I have to go through it. Today I'll go through it. You'll get it in, will you come in weekdays? No, by next weekend you'll definitely get it. Today I'll get little time to do that. I think orientation they will do. Okay? There will be a orientation done by any of the faculty, and then they will enroll you in any batch. What do you do, by the way?
I'm an architect.
Oh, that's great. So are you still pursuing it?
Yeah, I'm in my final year.
Where? From where?
In the first year, IB.
Acha, okay, okay.
So I'm doing my internship.
Okay, so you are in BA program, right? Architect in what? Like you're doing masters or what in that? Just what? Bachelor's. Okay. ठीक है.
It's a 5-year course and I'm in my final year.
Okay.
Currently, I'm doing my internship at
DLF. Okay, nice. So you get time on Saturdays, Sundays only, right? Okay. So you have to commute to Gurgaon for that. Okay, all right, no problem.
I'm not preparing for next year's exam.
Okay. HC, we're not preparing for UPSC. Haryana Services. SCS it is. I got it. Okay, so by mistake they would have given the.
No, I just start here. I just looked at the time there and then start.
So proper timetable has come to you.
नहीं वो दोनों एक बार बस अभी हफ्ते का महीना है.
Kisne who sent you this? Can you tell me the name?
तो विशाली.
Okay.
उन्होंने अभी बोला था कि ओरिएंटेशन होगी लेकिन मैं हिस्ट्री के लिए भी थी.
So you got this timetable for today.
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
Well, I joined this morning.
Mhm.
We didn't have time to indulge properly.
Okay, okay. We'll talk. We'll have a discussion with her. Okay. Okay. Now come to the next part, which is your convention on national trait. Next is convention on national trait in endangered species. Convention on international trait in endangered species of of wild flora and fauna. And who was the counselor?
Yes.
ठीक है समझ गई.
Endangered species.
Endangered species of wild fauna and flora. Write down in the bracket sites. Do you remember that every sites, CITES, sites. It's a convention on international trade in endangered species on wild fauna and flora. How many of you have gone through the cases wherein somebody who's coming on the airports and then they're carrying the crocodiles in their bags, or they're carrying the snake in their bags, or maybe turtle in their bags? How many stories?
Saying it, but I've seen on
You've seen, yeah, seen on the news only. We all have seen in the news only, not in reality. But have you seen? Have you heard of it? And have you seen
monkeys or
baby monkeys? I'm not aware. Imported from Thailand. Okay, that's good. So there's a news to me. So what they do, they carry all of these from there, and they somehow try to put it in their bag, and they want to carry. Why are they doing all this thing? For what?
because they are only available in specific regions.
Correct. They are specific. They are of high value. They are of high economic value in the market. The market prices are set accordingly. What is the demand and how rare the availability and how rare these species are. So that is directly proportional. And that's how you decide the market price of anything. In fact, the turtles have been sent like anything. They have been bought at such a high price. Your crocodiles, certain species, then your snakes, then your tusks, all of this. Then he's mentioning about baby monkeys. They are illegally exported from Thailand, right? So all of this we should be aware of. Sites में क्या आपको मिलता है? Sites में they do list all the species which are banned from trading, right? And you remember that initially we were doing the WPA Act 2022, which has been amended. पहले कितने schedules थे उसमें? 6 schedules. Now they have only 4 schedules. 4 schedules का मतलब क्या है? जो उसका 4th है, 4th schedule, it includes what? Sites. Sites में वो species जो endangered है. क्यों हमने रखे? So that we should be aware of the fact that these species are endangered and we would not entertain anybody bringing in this through the illegal means. It could be any. It could be from the coastal region. It could be from the airports. It could be from the train. The moment they are being traded, the moment they are coming to into our territory, we will have the legal actions against them.
Now even for plants,
Yes. Yes. Yes, in Mediterranean Sea orchids, there is a big market of orchids in our Mediterranean Sea. They are trying to bring in that also. So all of these things, especially the cows, the certain breeds from this area, the porous border. Earlier we used to have a quite porous border. Now we are not having. From Bangladesh, they are trying to come in. So they're trying to first spot the weak areas where it's quite vulnerable. They sneak through it. The moment they started sneaking through it, then it becomes highly the spot of that area, and then they accumulate. I mean, the whole nexus gets accumulated over there. So this is what that we have to keep in mind, that how the things, how we have to protect it. I mean, how the migratory species, how the species which are traded, which are banned, should be stopped. And they're very interesting cases how beautifully they try to, disguise themselves, or maybe they want to hide all these species in their bags, etc. So I have seen a very classic case of, I was going through one documentary. So what this guy did, so he wanted to bring in gold from somewhere else. So please don't try this. So he wanted to try this thing. What he did, he was an engineer. He took out all the elements, software, etc., and the hardware devices also. So what he did, जितना hardware devices था उसको निकाल के he replaced it with the gold pieces. Then he put it with the gold pieces and he tried to assemble all the things, and he carried that whole laptop with himself. I don't know how the investigators or how those people who are standing over there, they figured it out that this is having something in, there's something in this laptop. And then we opened it. I mean, they literally screwed it out and then they opened and deassembled it. They got all of these pieces, etc., in the laptop, right? So this is how these people are finding ways to get sneak through it. Now, obviously, officials also quite smarter. They, in fact, over this, they can outsmart you in many ways. They know what strategies or tactics you all can use. So I never thought that somebody would do like that. That they will open, they will good amount of gold which was fitted into the whole laptop. तो खोला तो ये सब मिला, ठीक है. I think there was one documentary I think I was watching. I think it was on, I think Netflix only. Right? I can't recall the name, but yes, it was there. Okay. So very interesting cases. And then I can't recollect any other I know. Okay. So these are very interesting. How you get to know about these things. Okay. And then your officials. You know that you have to pay when you're buying luxury items. Just for that also, just another information. Luxury items, etc. You have to also give some duties on that. So a lot of actors and actresses are also not. They try to refrain from giving all these things because all the luxury products have different kind of slabs, right? Okay. So now coming back to the topic, write down. CITES was the contribution of. CITE was the contribution of IUCN. CITE was the contribution of IUCN. CITE was the contribution of IUCN, which is International Union for, which is International Union for Conservation of Nature, comma, with the decision taken in 1963. With the decision taken in 1963. Next point. India signed agreement. India signed agreement in 1976. India signed agreement in 1976. Next point. Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. What happened?
Wildlife crime.
Yeah. Control Bureau. This is in another body. Write down. Serves as designated national agency. Serves as designated national agency for implementing the CITES. Now, this Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, please underline. No, implementing the CITES. अब देखिए, I'll just try to simplify for you guys. Listen here. देखिए, ये CITES है. What is the full form? Conservation on. What is the full form of this? Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Now it is under what? IUCN. IUCN is what? IUCN is what? जब हम किसी भी स्पीशीज का endangered, critically endangered देखना चाहते हैं तो क्या करते हैं? क्या बोलते हैं? पहले IUCN स्टेटस बताइए इसका. ठीक है, तो ये किसका पार्ट है? ये इसी का पार्ट है. इसी के अंदर इसको डेवलप किया गया है. ठीक है, IUCN जैसे कोई भी स्पीशी आई, स्पीशीज को पहले क्या बताएगा? ये क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड है. अब वो ठीक है, स्टेबल हो गया वो स्पीशी, तो उसको वो एंडेंजर्ड भी कर सकते हैं. क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड मतलब बहुत कम रह गए हैं, आप उनको ज्यादा टेंशन की जरूरत है. अब ये स्टेबल हो गए तो इसको एंडेंजर्ड पे ला सकते हैं, बिल्कुल ला सकते हैं. एंडेंजर्ड से क्रिटिकल एंडेंजर्ड लेकर जा सकते हैं, बिल्कुल लेकर जा सकते हैं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द स्टेटस ऑफ द स्पीशी. ठीक है, इनके 5-6 स्टेटस होते हैं. बहुत पॉपुलर CR, विच इज अ क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड, एंडेंजर्ड, वल्नरेबल, नियर थ्रेटन्ड, ऑल ऑफ दीज आर देयर. ठीक है, एंड एक्सटिंक्ट. सो IUCN के अंदर ये आपने क्या इंट्रोड्यूस करा? साइट्स. साइट्स क्या है? कन्वेंशन ऑन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड ऑफ एंडेंजर्ड स्पीशीज. अब स्पीशीज क्या हो सकती हैं? कुछ भी हो सकती हैं. आपका बर्ड से लेकर कोई प्लांट से लेकर कुछ भी, एनीथिंग कैन बी देयर. ठीक है, सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज दिस, सेकेंड इज देर इज, अब आपका कंट्री के अंदर भी कोई ऐसा अथॉरिटी होना चाहिए जो इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन ने बनाया. हमारे पास क्या है जो इस पे ओवरसी करेगा? So there is an authority. What institution that we have created? We have created Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, which serves as a designated national agency for implementing sites. ठीक है? Any doubt in this?
Wildlife.
Yes, wildlife crime. Write down next. लिखिए. Site Secretariat is administered by Site Secretariat is administered by UNEP. UNEP. And it's located in Geneva. And it's located in Geneva. Where is Geneva? Switzerland. Write down Switzerland. Now write down next, main objectives. Main objectives. What are the main objectives? The first one is to ensure that international trade in specimens. The main objective is international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants, of wild animal and plants, does not threaten their wild animals and plants, does not threaten their survival, does not threaten their survival. Write down next. To ensure this does not violate, this does not violate, this does not violate VIO GATT, GATT, which is your General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Excellent. Now it's time to do one question. Write down. State the contribution of sites in controlling. State the contribution of sites, SITES, in controlling the trade of wildlife species. Do it in 250 words.
Science and technology. The site CIPEA.
How much have you written? Just dump me these statistics, okay? You should use lot of data in this. Are you still writing? Done? Okay. I see yours. The way you written. It's a first class, I don't know.
I just wrote down the keywords and like there are good sounds. Try and write it.
No, no, it's okay. What is this?
Model.
Model.
Political people of art of science.
Right, for the first day, it's quite good. Okay. Later on, you will build up the structuring, right? And then you will write intro.
I'm very bad at that.
Yes. Later on, they will just over the period of time, they'll faculties will explain you. But objective, the point wise you have written is fine. This is what is required in the body. That is fine. Okay, shall we get back? Okay. So next, write down. Okay. So there's a convention with the name of London Convention. Okay. So now the convention I'll be discussing about is the convention that has been more important for the marine resources, right? So when I'm carrying a ship, or maybe there are pollutants that I am been dumping in the area. So what do? You create the marine resources, for example, any ocean, any water body as a dumping ground. You think that is not of importance, and let's use it like that. So similarly, earlier also and even now, many European countries were using different places as their dumping ground. For example, they were putting there all the trash, whether it's electronic waste or whether it's other waste, agricultural or industrial waste, into the areas which are for example, which are not a part of their country or which are not near to their continents, for example, Africa. ठीक है, वहाँ पे जाके dump कर दिया. So do you think how ethically good it is that? No. You are just transferring the wastage from one area to another area. You're not trying to reduce it. You're not trying to find means to treat it correct. There's no waste management system that you have enrolled. And then apart from that, you are dumping, you're creating other areas more vulnerable out of that. So there was a system which got in, and then we discussed that this wastage that is happening near the marine resources, near the oceans, near the water bodies should be stopped, right? So therein we have multiple conventions for it, and we are catering to the different parts, different activities that the countries are trying to do. So all of this has been taken care of. So later on, what happened? People started doing, they start finding the alternatives for it. For example, what they did, ठीक है, raw material जैसा in that format is not allowed. Now, what we will do, we will incinerate it. Incinerate का मतलब होता है that पूरा आपने जो भी आपका garbage है उसको जला दिया, और जलाने के बाद you are transporting it somewhere else. So in the amendment, it was also mentioned the incineration is also not allowed, because they figured out some other way to do that, right? Then when you figure out something else, what happens? In that way, you're trying to bypass what? The laws which has been enrolled for you, which has been enlisted for you. So in that case, even the countries cannot use the trick, the countries cannot bypass all these laws. They made different laws for that. They tried to put this point particularly that incineration is also not allowed in that. Okay. So the first we are going to talk about is London Convention 1972. Write down. It's London Convention 1972. London Convention 1972. It's London Convention 1972. Write down. Okay. Convention on the prevention of. It's a convention on the prevention of marine pollution. It's a convention on the prevention of marine pollution by dumping of waste, and other matter. Convention on prevention of marine pollution by dumping of waste and other matter. Next, it came into force in 1975. It came into force in 1975. Write down the objectives. Write down the objectives. लिखिए. Prevent pollution of seas. It prevents pollution of seas by dumping. It prevents pollution of seas from dumping waste by ships, aircraft, next, platforms, and other man-made structures, right? Majorly तो आपकी यही है, aircraft से, ships से, all of these, because they travel the most there. Anthropogenic activities क्या है? आपका aircraft है, industrial effluents है, your ship है. These are the major things. And then certain man-made structure, if there are any, right? For example, we have created a man-made structure only where? In Mumbai High Basin. Why? To extract the petroleum near that area. So we need some kind of arrangement there that is known as a man-made structure which has been created. And if somebody is living there, somebody is trying, because somebody has to stay there for the humans have to stay there for all the activities, and then they will create what? They will create they will fill it with trash. Okay. So next, write down key features. It requires permission. It requires permits for ocean dumping. Next, it banned hazardous waste. hazardous waste, it banned hazardous waste, write down. Example, radioactive materials. It banned hazardous waste, bracket में लिखेंगे radioactive materials. Next, there was an amendment done in 1993. There was an amendment done in 1993. And what was this amendment for? Write down. It banned incineration of industrial waste. It banned incineration of industrial waste at sea. Full stop. Phased out industrial waste dumping. It phased out industrial waste dumping by 1995. Next, it encourages waste management. It encourages waste management, comma, reduction, management, comma, reduction, and alternative disposal methods. And alternative disposal methods. So this is about London Convention. Right? Okay. So just go through it. Any point that you cannot understand, I'm giving some time to read. Ratify me. I have to check that. Sure. I was about to give that. I know when the classes are long, then it's become difficult. Do you don't want to? Yes, because see, so I'll tell you. For the GS, your 6 other core subjects which are going to be same for yours, which is polity, economics, environment, geography, polity and governance, geography, environment, your history, and science. These are the basics. There are, because that's why the name general studies. It's same everywhere. It's just that what level of difficulty that you're getting in the different subjects, in different state exams. Maybe in certain state exams, you have been asked more about the environment. Maybe it depends upon state. And then UPSC is more of a questions. So that's what. So you know the difficulty level of UPSC in the state exams, right? Yes, not much, but then still they have the language thing that is quite tough as compared to the state examination. But state examination, they do have all these areas covered. आपके particularly? हाँ होता है ना. You have, I think हरियाणा का you do have that thing ना? Do you have optional or do you have a state special? That is what you have to figure out. Earlier, there are certain states which are having optional. They still stick to that idea of keeping an optional, but there are certain states which have replaced it with the state special, wherein they tell you to read about their states more. Okay. For example, UP PCS. So UP has changed the syllabus earlier. The optionals which people are preparing for UPSC, they can use that in the UP PCS examination also. But now they have changed this. So you have to not study. You need to have any optional subjects. Or do you understand optional? Optional subjects. No. No, basically they are important. Optional doesn't mean it's additional. It's basically one of the most important thing in UPSC. Because they have quite a good weightage, 500 marks weightage in the mains examination. Right? But that is, the idea is that you can only get to write that exam, that options mains exam, only when you clear the prelims. Right? Otherwise, there's no use. Prelims में सिर्फ GS, optional का कुछ नहीं पूछा जाता. ठीक है? You'll get हाँ
if there's a special subject or a
हाँ 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 स्पेशल है उनका ऑप्शन,
or is different वो भी column
इंटरव्यू होता है फिर, हाँ
last
लास्ट इंटरव्यू।
इसके current affairs भी
हाँ करंट अफेयर्स और स्टेट स्पेशल से पूछे जाते हैं, देन यू नीड टू गो थ्रू द बजट ऑफ द स्पेसिफिक स्टेट, you need to get through the economic survey. Huh? Who I think this is specific. I don't know who's taking care of that.
last
Yeah. Ask. Initially, you should have you'll have limited number of classes. Otherwise, you'll get confused. There's a lot of information bombarded, right? So, do you find this thing very easy?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Both history and
This environment.
yeah, it's easy.
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, online students, do you have any doubts? So you can ask. Online students. Online students, yes. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. No doubt.
Okay. Okay, move to the next part. Write down. Trisha, wake up. The last water management. The last water management convention. BALLAST. The last water management convention. So now what is this? This has been made in respect to the ships which are carrying some kind of a pathogen, or maybe they can carry some kind of invasive species. It is possible, right? You could carry some radioactive elements, or you could carry something which is not suitable for the ecosystem. So you have to prevent that. While you are while you're commuting through the ship, you have to take care of all these things that this should not happen. So what is there specifically in that? Write down. It's an international convention. It's an international convention for control and management. It's an international convention for control and management of ships ballast water of it's a convention for control and management of ships ballast water and sediments ब्रैकेट में लिखेंगे it's a BMW convention. It's a BMW convention. It's a full form of ballast water. ठीक है, जान के लिखा है ताकि याद रहे. ठीक है, write down. Okay, write down. It is administered by International Maritime Organization. Maritime Organization, which is IMO. It is administered by. हर convention सुनिए, हर convention किसी ना किसी के अंदर क्या होता है? Yes, it is under that. So this has been done by IMO, International Maritime Organization. Write down. India has ratified this convention. India has ratified this convention.
Lady.
Ratified. RATIFIED. India has ratified this convention, and the purpose is to prevent, and the purpose is to prevent the transfer of, and the purpose is to prevent the transfer of harmful aquatic organisms, and the purpose is to prevent the transfer of harmful aquatic organisms and pathogens via ships blast water, and I mean the water that they are carrying, no, they are going on that. Where are ships going? Yes, and don't they have their own internal systems? Somebody staying over there, they're eating, etc. So they also have this duct from where everything is going out. The water used by the ships. Okay, so they have this same thing. For example, in the Navy, even the Navy ships are having the same. Okay, write down. And sediments, likhiye, and sediments, full stop. Next, write down. What are the measures? Every ship must have a ship-specific plan. Ship-specific plan for the management. For the management. Now, there is another thing. What ships are doing? They are spilling. Oil spilling is one of the most potent, most harmful thing which is happening, and they are keeping a lot of areas dead. For example, there was a case in Gulf of Mexico wherein the whole area remained literally dead for 1 month. That zone, we call it as a dead zone, which has been created by oil spill. What happened with the oil spill? Because oil just get all over the place, and then what happened? Yes, there's a deprivation of the oxygen which happens beneath the surface of the ocean, and the whole ecosystem then dies and start degrading. So in order to prevent this, and you have to carry the oil like this only, there is no other medium. There are some streams, etc. But the point is, the majority of the transportation is happening through that. So for that only, we have another convention specifically for it. We call it as MARPOL Convention, right? So write down MARPOL Convention, MARPOL. MARPOL Convention has been adopted in 1973. Next is MARPOL Convention. MARPOL. Yeah. Has been adopted in 1973, and it came into force in 1983. And it came into force in 1983. What is the full form? It's an international convention. It's an international convention for prevention of pollution. It's an international convention for the prevention of pollution from ships. Next point. हाँ, तो इसका भी है. No, it's a kind of a pollution, oil pollution. हाँ, first write down prevention of oil pollution. Prevention of oil pollution. It requires oil discharge monitoring. It requires oil discharge monitoring. It requires oil discharge monitoring. Write down control of noxious liquid substances. So what happens, Visha? So you're getting confused, right? So this is what, when you are using the chemicals, etc. inside the ship as well. So what happened? They are being discharged through that duct, right? And that will create that will have all those chemicals mixed up with it. in it. And when you are discharging it over there, what will happen? It will get mixed up with the oceans. So that is what you have to treat it before you are discharging it. So that is what. Even in the previous case, that they were highlighting this only. Okay. So noxious liquid substances. Next, prevention of harmful substances in packaged form. Prevention of harmful substances in packaged form. For example, people take a lot of things for eating, etc., right? But most of the time they are not labeled. So since they are not labeled, what happens? You never know that what kind of food they are having. So that's why it has been made mandatory. Whatever you are carrying on the ships has to be labeled. Even the packaged food especially, आपको label करना पड़ेगा. उसके ऊपर लिखा होना चाहिए वो क्या है, किस लिए है. So that whenever you go in, they can check all these things. Next, write down sewage pollution control. Sewage pollution control. Sewage pollution control. And the next one is air pollution, prevention of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. Prevention of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. Done. Just go through all the 3 conventions that we have done quickly and let me know. Difference है. देखो, Marpol is basically for oil. ठीक है? Specifically, majorly for oil, right? Next you have for the water dumping, correct? No, prevent pollution of seas from dumping waste by the ships, aircraft. It's about not only ships, it's about all the forms which have been used by the humans. They should not dump the area. They are for ships, specifically for ships. Because even what happened now, when any convention is formed, even the humans try to figure out some loopholes and they try to use that trick. So when even the convention try to figure out, okay, we have not mentioned this and that, and then they try to come in with the different convention to prevent people from doing the same thing. Okay? Okay, next write down Basel Convention. BASEL, Basel Convention. Again, these all are related to waste and etc. Now, this Basel Convention is basically for the transboundary movement of the waste. I discussed about the European countries, what they were using. They were using African continent as a dumping ground. Transboundary means from one country, from one continent to another continent, one country to another country, you are carrying the waste and literally dumping it. So it is not allowed. Before dumping in any of the waste, you need to get the permission of that country, right? If you are not given a permission from that country, you cannot export it. Second is, there are some materials which are waste and they are actually transported and with the permission of the countries only. For example, scraps, your metal scraps, all of these are treated. There is a proper plant for it, melting, smelting, all of this done of the metals, copper, aluminium. So you need a scrap for it. Okay, जो scrap कहाँ से आएगा? Different areas. जो आपकी coke bottle है, आपने कुछ use करा, क्या-क्या use करते हो आप अपना aluminium में? Anything you are using, your utensils, all of these, जब वो scrap बन जाते हैं electronics, scrap बन गया, अब उसको एक industry कोई चला रहा है, aluminium factories वगैरह etc. So there are different factories which has been set up, उनको फिर treat किया जाता है, फिर उनसे क्या बनाया जाता है? एक और product बनाया जाता है, जो African countries में plants हैं. So they need that scrap. अगर आपकी उनकी परमिशन से ही वो आ रहा है, so there is no problem. But you have to take the permission. पहले permission लेने ही जाती थी, first they used to send it. So with permission you have to get in. अगर permission नहीं है definitely you can't do it. तो ये first convention था transboundary movement का, ठीक है, write down. Where's Basel? स्विट्जरलैंड, ठीक है, लिखिए 1989 Basel, Switzerland. Switzerland, yes. It was adopted in 1989, Basel, Switzerland, and it entered into force. It adopted in 1989, Basel, Switzerland. Switzerland. Next, it entered into force on May 5, 1992. What is the idea of it? To prevent the human and environmental health. Right on. The idea is to protect human and environmental health, human health and environmental health from hazardous waste by regulating transboundary movement. Transboundary movement. And ensuring environmentally sound management. And ensuring environmentally sound management. Sound management. ओके क्या क्या इस पे hazardous waste के अंदर कंसीडर किया जाता है? राइट डाउन. योर household waste, comma, incinerator ash, comma, certain plastic waste, comma, and certain electronic and electrical waste. And certain electronic and electrical waste. See the control measures, write down the control measures. What control measures they are talking about? Write down. First is treating at the source. They are saying do not dump it, you treat it from where it has been originated. Okay? Treat it at the source. आप सोर्स पे ही उसको क्या करिए? ट्रीट करिए. ठीक है? You treat it at the source. Write down. Parties must reduce hazardous waste. Parties must reduce hazardous waste generation at the national level. At the national level. Next is prior informed consent. Prior informed consent. Whose consent are we taking? The countries where we are transporting all this material. So we should have a prior consent of that country. Write down. Exports require written consent from importing and transit countries. Next, consent from importing and transit countries. Next, parties can ban imports. Parties can ban imports if they lack. Parties can ban imports if they lack the capacity for environmentally sound management. Environmentally sound management. ठीक है? Two more to do. Don't worry. Yes, two more. Is important है बहुत ज़्यादा. रॉटरडम एंड स्टॉकहोम दोनों ही important है. ठीक है? और ये दोनों थोड़े से सेम है. रॉटरडम और स्टॉकहोम हल्का हल्का. Why? Because we both are talking about the pollutants only. Okay? Just read that out. Giving you 2-3 minutes.
Ma'am, basically,
1992. देखिए बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. There are a lot of discussions which happen. There are people who are not agreeing to it. People are not saying yes to the conventions objectives. So when the members are not aligned with the objectives, then it take more time. जैसे आपका BBNJ है, your biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. India has not ratified it yet. They have only signed. That thing I'm not giving. I'm giving it basically for the assignment to do it, BBNJ wala convention. So basically it's that. अब देखिए high seas है. Do you understand the idea of high sea? So international sea that basically is not owned by any of the country. International water, yes, high seas. So basically they're not been there's not any no country is having a jurisdiction over there. So moment you're not having a jurisdiction, what happens? It becomes free places, not any of the country. Then who will take in charge of that? So around, it is said that 70% of the area is having the international water or high sea. So somebody has to take care of it. That's why the name BBNJ, beyond biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. So there is a biodiversity also which is there, marine biodiversity, coral reefs, etc. So what people do, they do dump everything over there. They do not. There is nobody who's taking accountability for that. So they are trying to bring an international institution, trying to bring in the treaty so that people can align with the objectives that you should consider that area as also yours. That is because that is onus lies on all the countries. That is a part of the globe only. That is not kuch Mars ka part nahi hai. That is a part of the earth only. So you to be more responsible in your activities. That is what they are asking. So India is trying to formulate some mechanism so that they can also work on it. So although India has just signed it, India has not ratified it. ठीक है? India ने सिर्फ sign किया है document, ratify नहीं किया है. So write down ये question लिख लीजिए and do it in assignment. Discuss BBNJ and states its implication on the environment. States its implication on the marine resources ecosystem likhiye. On the marine ecosystem, that's it. Not environment, on the marine ecosystem. And that is your assignment for home. Okay, coming to the next, write down Rotterdam Convention. Rotterdam Convention. Where is Rotterdam? It's in Netherlands. Okay? Rotterdam Convention. What is this? क्यों हुआ ये? देखिए, lot of chemicals which are being traded. For example, ऐसा हो सकता है ना कि आप एक कंट्री से दूसरे कंट्री में केमिकल्स ले जाएं, right? For example, there is a classic case of DDT being used. अब DDT क्यों use किया जाता था? As a pesticide, it was used by the farmers, and even still it is used. So later on, it was discovered that DDT is very harmful for the rats, for the people, for the species which are at the higher trophic level. For example, vultures. For example, eagles. So what was happening? These crops, when the farmers were using this DDT in order to protect to use it as a pesticide to protect it from the different pests, the crops were later eaten by the cows or by the rats, and the rats were feeded upon by the vultures or the hawks, etc. When they were eating it up, the kind of repercussion it had on the rats was not much more, but the kind of repercussion it had on the vulture was quite magnificent, quite visible also, substantial. So we could see the bioaccumulation happening over there. Bioaccumulation का मतलब होता है कि अगर कोई भी टॉक्सिक चीज बार बार खाते जाएंगे तो क्या होगा, वो एक्यूमुलेट होती जाएगी आपके अंदर, और ये सबसे ज्यादा फर्क कहाँ लाती है, आपके हायर ट्रॉफिक लेवल में. So vulture being part of a highest trophic level, they were affected the most, and that's why what happened, that population of them start declining. उनका reproductive organs failure हुआ, kidney failure हुआ, all of this was happening. Their shell, the shell of their eggs started getting thinned. So all of this were the repercussions that happened. जब आपको पता चला कि vultures का population decline हो रहा है या फिर ये problem उनके अंदर हो रहा है, and they being a very important part, because what happens, they feed upon the caracases. Do you understand what caracases is? The dead and decomposed organisms. So when feed it upon caracases, it actually helps in the process. What cyclic process? क्या होगा उससे? वो फिर से वो nutrients वो change हो जाएंगे organic matter, and then it will be again assimilated into the soil and form a organic manure. तो ये सब प्रोसेस होता है. तो जब DDT फिगर आउट हुआ, सिमिलरली देयर इज अनदर केमिकल आल्सो एंडोसल्फान, ठीक है, इनके साथ भी यही केस था, लेकिन फार्मर्स ने यूज बंद नहीं किया. इंडिया के अंदर आज भी वो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है काफी हद तक, पर फार्मर्स आज भी उसको यूज कर रहे हैं एज अ वन ऑफ द टूल to protect their crops from the pesticide. But the implications, if you see, it's larger than what you can see on the paper or in the reports. Then we started what? We started a rehab centers for them that should be created. Okay. Okay. Next, क्या measures हम लेकर आए? इंडिया में क्या measures हम लेकर आए? We started having a vulture restaurant. What is the idea? Vulture restaurant is, this is the first idea which has been taken by the different countries, and they said that the organic matters which are not being, which are pure in sense they have not eaten anything which is containing DDT or any chemical, only those organism would be there in that. और वहाँ पे eagles आएंगे and they'll have their food. That is why the name vulture restaurant. ठीक है, ये idea बाहर की country से लिया गया and India has implemented this. So this is what they have been taken care of. Now अब जब आपका chemicals को list कर दिया गया कि ये chemicals ban है, आप नहीं उसको ले सकते, नहीं आप उसको कर सकते हैं, still countries were sending it. So again इसमें भी क्या चाहिए था? Informed prior consent. कि आपको पता होना चाहिए ना आपकी कंट्री में क्या आ रहा है, कौन सा केमिकल आ रहा है. तो because people use asbestos, आपने देखा होगा पेंट्स वगैरह में कितना यूज होता है, ठीक है. सो ये सब चीजें आप अपनी डेली लाइफ में देख रहे हैं, आपको पता भी नहीं इतना हार्मफुल है. ऑलराइट, सो राइट डाउन. रॉटरडैम कन्वेंशन लिखिए. Convention on the prior informed consent procedure. Rotterdam Convention is on the prior informed. Prior मतलब पहले, informed मतलब पहले से बता देना. Prior informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemicals. For certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade. In international trade. Next, it was started on September 10, 1998. It was started on September 10 in 1998 in Rotterdam, Netherlands. 1998, Rotterdam's Netherlands. Next, yeah, 1998. Next, it is a legally binding instrument. It's a legally binding instrument. Next, write down key provisions. Key provisions. And in the key provisions, write down prior informed consent procedure. Prior informed consent procedure. Key provisions में लिखेंगे prior informed consent procedures. Write down the first one. Before exporting specific chemical, comma, exporting countries must obtain, in fact, not contain. Exporting countries must obtain explicit consent. They must obtain explicit consent from importing country, comma, ensuring that countries have necessary information to decide on the imports. मतलब आपको mislead नहीं करना है किसी को. You need to have that what repercussion this chemical can have. You need to mention it. Necessary information to decide on import of these chemicals. Write down notable chemicals given by them. First लिखेंगे Aldrin, notable chemicals given by them. पहला लिखेंगे Aldrin, 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 ALDRIN. Then write down DDT, DDT, D, capital D, capital D and T. Then endosulfan, ENDO, ENDOSULPHAN, endosulfan. Next, write down heptachlor, 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 heptachlor. Then write down parathion, parathion. Then write down industrial chemicals like write down industrial chemicals like asbestos. S लिखेंगे ASBES, asbestos. That's it. अभी रिसेंटली कॉप 11 में हमने एक केमिकल ऐड किया था रिसेंट डेवलपमेंट में 2025 में आई मीन कॉप 11 किसका, इसका कन्वेंशन का, इस कन्वेंशन की भी तो मिलते हैं ना सारे मेंबर्स, तो इन्होंने ऐड किया था कॉप 11 2023 में टर्बूफॉस, TERBUFOS, टर्बूफॉस, ये रिसेंट था कॉप 11 जब इनकी मीटिंग हुई थी, अलग कन्वेंशन की अलग अलग मीटिंग हुई थी, ठीक है। हाँ एक रहता है पर यू टेक योर टाइम, धीरे धीरे करा दे, ठीक है, टेक योर टाइम। यू हैड योर मुरली सर क्लास आल्सो ना, इससे पहले हिस्ट्री की क्लास था ना आपको, हिस्ट्री कौन लेते हैं? अच्छा 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 अच्छा,
मुझे क्या हर सब्जेक्ट की ओरिएंटेशन?
नहीं हर सब्जेक्ट का ओरिएंटेशन लेना, आपको एक ही सब्जेक्ट का लेना है, मतलब सब्जेक्ट नहीं, एक ही फैकल्टी से आपको पता चल जाएगा, जिनका शायद आपका इंडक्शन हो, जिस जिस क्लास में आप आने वाले होंगे उन्हीं फैकल्टी से आपका बात होगा। Let's go with the last one, which is the Stockholm Convention for the day. Okay. Where is Stockholm now? Sweden, I know. Sweden, I know. Adopted in May 22. It was adopted in May 22, Stockholm Convention. Next is Stockholm. Adopted in, right on, May 22, 2001, Sweden. It was entered into force on May 17. It was entered into force on May 17, 2004. India ratified in 2006. India ratified in 2006 and stated that, and the article, objective states that protect human health and environment from persistent organic pollutants. From persistent organic pollutants. Now, what is this? There is a word used in this organic. That means the chemicals which are organic in nature, but at the same time they are quite harmful. Are persistent organic chemicals or pollutants, basically, right? Write down. I'll give you. Write down. Initially, there were 12 POPs. Initially, there were 12 POPs which got enlisted. Ps, your persistent organic pollutants, POPs, which were enlisted. First pesticide is, write down, aldrin. The first one organic POP which has been used in it is aldrin. Next is again heptachlor only, heptachlor, etc. Write down. The 12 POPs were labeled as, dirty dozen. The 12 POPs were labeled as dirty dozen. Because they were 12, that's why dirty dozen. Dirty dozen. Next, write down. Box में लिखेंगे what are persistent organic pollutants. What are persistent organic pollutants? Write down. They persist in the environment for years. They persist in the environment for years. First point. Next. Persist in the environment for a year. First point. Second. That spread globally through air, water, and soil. They spread globally through air, water, and soil. Next, they bioaccumulate in living organisms, increasing the food chain, increasing up the food chain. And the last one is they harm humans and wildlife. They harm humans and wildlife. Okay? There are some measures also, key provisions, some measures to control them. Key provisions. Write down first point under this. Control measures. First is ban production and use of POPs. Next, waste and stockpile management. Waste and stockpile management. Write down. Identify, label and dispose of POPs safely. Identify, comma, label, and dispose of POPs wisely. Next, no recycling or reuse of POPs contaminated materials. Of POPs contaminated materials. Next, National Implementation Plan. National Implementation Plan, write down. Parties must prepare and update. Parties must prepare and update NIPs, NIPs to control POPs, to control
Must prepare and
update, to control NIPs, to control POPs. NIPs are National Implementation Plan. Implementation Plan. Okay, that's it. लास्ट एक पॉइंट लिख लो बस, GEF इसको फंड करता है. GEF ग्लोबल देखो हमेशा ध्यान रखना, आई एम टेलिंग यू मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम GEF इज ग्लोबल एनवायरमेंटल फैसिलिटी. ठीक है, हमेशा याद रखना GEF अगर ऑप्शन में होगा या फिर वर्ल्ड बैंक. अगर GEF या वर्ल्ड बैंक में से जो भी है मैक्सिमम टाइम दे विल फंड एवरीथिंग. GEF and World Bank, maximum time. You need to even remember it or recall it. Maximum time they will, because GF getting the fund from different sources like World Bank, huh? The World Bank. World Bank. ठीक है.
जब हमें इसको ये हमें पता है कि हमें क्या-क्या करना चाहिए.
मतलब क्या क्या करना चाहिए, मतलब
इसके हमें वो आता है कि what are the ऐसे major controls क्या है ये सब हमें पता है इससे कंट्रोल करना है.
हम कर रहे हैं, but the point is lot of people are not aware. So पहली बात तो लोगों को awareness ही नहीं है. What happens, जैसे there are farmers who are not well educated, not aware. They'll go to a shop, they will say I need something for the pesticide. अब आप बताइए, you will go to a shop and you will ask for the pesticide. उसमें क्या मिला है, क्या चीज है, you never know. You are not known. आपको तो ये मतलब है कि आपको वो पेस्टिसाइड चाहिए और उसको कंट्रोल करना है अपने क्रॉप्स. हाँ, तब जाती है, वही जाती है, ऑडिट होता है, राइट. So this happen and then they are caught in this thing because they are, when it's banned, when it's not, said that you don't have to use and still they are using it. ठीक है, already होता है ये चीज, but then again they keep on repeating the same thing. Please do your questions which I've given it to you. हाँ, BBNJ. The denim bags have started now, right?
Yes.
The idea is from where?
It's repurposed.
Okay, you've got it made customized. Okay, so who gave you idea for this? Oh, wow. Was it another project or you yourself initiated it?
Just like design it.
Nice. A very different thing I've seen for the first time. I think you will be enrolled in my batch only when I mean, when your environment will start. Okay, it starts from the starting for you, not from the mid. Okay, these have come here by mistake, no? So you have the proper classes, you will have the classes from the scratch.
Probably next week.
Depends which subject is starting, which is the running subjects, which it's been started in your state pieces.
ये तो 2023 का ही है।
हाँ, recent है, बहुत recent. And we're still thinking कि हमें nationally क्या-क्या provisions लेकर आएंगे to implement this. जब भी कोई international institution कुछ भी बनाता है, उसके accordingly हम अपना national policies भी align करते हैं.
लेकिन ये हाई सीज के लिए
Only high seas. तभी इसमें लिखा है national beyond biodiversity beyond. तभी word use किया है beyond national jurisdiction. Because जब आपका basically coast के पास भी you have the jurisdiction यहाँ तक, which is your 200 nautical miles. यहाँ तक आपका jurisdiction रहता है. इसके beyond नहीं है. और यहाँ पे आपका rule नहीं चलेगा. ठीक है? तो वहाँ के लिए आपको you need something. Okay, thank you so much, class.